Hey everyone, and welcome back to another tribe tutorial. Unfortunately, it's the end of the session and it's time to pack away your gear. So I'm going to show you the key bits and pieces of packing away your kite. We'll see you in the video. So this is a pretty straightforward tutorial, just going through some of the key points. If you've not really packed the kite away by yourself properly before, then it's nice to know. We're going to start off just by disconnecting our lines from the kite. So sometimes these can be nice and tight because they've been pulled on all day. So conveniently with these slingshot kites have this little tab, just give it a little wiggle, loosen up your lark's head and push this off the connection point to the kite. So it's going to disconnect all 4 lines from the kite. It's important to do this first because you don't want to be pulling on the kite and accidentally taking off when you're packing the lines away. So do take your lines off before you start wrapping up the bar. Now I've disconnected my lines from my kite, I'm going to come and pack away my bar first. It is good kite beach etiquette to make sure you're taking your lines off the beach as quickly as you can, just so they're not lying around getting tangled on anybody else's kite or someone coming off the water and landing them on top of yours. It just saves time on the beach. So a lot of modern kites now come with this sort of plastic coating on those lines that run through the center of the bar there. So one of the things you'll find is that if you're bending that line aggressively on the end by the chicken loop connection or by where it hits the D-power line here, they can tend to crack. So try and find yourself a little bit of space a little bit lower down, like in the middle, to avoid having to put a large kink in the lines when you pack those lines away. What we're going to do is we're going to figure eight the lines around the outside of the kite. So grab those center ones, bring them round, grab an outside one and grab another outside one there, and just make sure they're nice and tight and figure eight those lines around the kite all the way to the end. So it's important to make sure you keep it nice and tight and cross it over in the center here like so. And a little sort of top tip for you here, it is really good to get into a habit of doing it the same way every day. And what I mean by that, like personally, I always hold the bar in my right hand with the white side pointing up into the sky and wrap the lines up with my left hand. Now if I come to unpack these lines, I shouldn't have any twists in the line, so I should be able to walk through and get the kite set up a little bit quicker when I want to get back out on the water the next following day. So just useful to get into a habit of always packing your lines away the same and unraveling them the same, and that way it reduces twists in the lines when you want to set up. So just get to the end of the lines here, nice and tight, figure eighting them around the lines, or around the bar, sorry I should say, and all the way to the end here. And as we get to the end, we've got a little bit of excess, and what I'm going to do, rather than continuing round, I'm actually just going to take this excess and wrap it round the end of the bar here like so. What that'll do is it'll keep all the line nice and tight, connected to the bar, and so it won't come undone and get entangled in the back of the car or in the kite bag. And then we'll have one little longer bit there. We're just going to tuck it under some of the lines and pull it through nice and tight. This bar quite conveniently has a couple of bungees. We'll wrap those around the ends as well. One like so and one like so. And there we have a nice tidied away bar ready to go into the bag. So I'm just going to pop that down on the beach, but don't forget it on the beach. So next is the kite. We're going to get that kite packed away into the bag, and ideally we want to pack it away with it being nice and dry. Now we're lucky here, the sun shines most of the time, but if you're in somewhere else like Europe, potentially it could be raining and wet, and the kite might just be wet from the end of the day session. So do try when you get home to get it out the bag and get it dry rather than leaving it in storage wet. It does cause mildew to form on the kite, and you can get the kite staining brown and so on. So it is best to pack it away dry. The worst thing for these kites really actually is the sand and the sun and the salt. It really wears down the material. So another point to take into consideration is don't just set your kite up for the sake of it, only set it up when you need to use it. I'm going to flip my kite over to get access to my valves, and I'm just going to reach into the middle here and pull out my deflate valve. So you can see here, pull this, makes a lot of noise there. One thing that I might also point out here today as well is, particularly with this slingshot system, they do have an additional deflate valve built into the inflate valve. If I unscrew that for you there, you'll be able to see that. I try and avoid using this, particularly in a location like Watamu, Kenya, where you've got really fine sand particles What I really want to avoid is any sand getting into the thread here. Now, if you're on a stony beach, it's not so much of an issue, but I prefer not to use this deflate valve for that particular reason, to avoid getting any leaks or it wearing out for consistent screwing up and unscrewing with the sand in it. So just a little tip there for people who are kiting in similar locations to ours here. Once I've deflated the kite, I'm just going to let it flap out downwind of me. Going to come to the wingtip here, and I'm just going to proceed to fold the kite or roll the kite up. Now, because we're on a sandy beach, we don't want to pack the sand away with the kite, so don't do it on the ground, but actually stand up and roll it up standing up so that you can brush the sand off as you're rolling the kite up. As you hit your first strut here, what you're going to do is undo the little clip here to let the air out, squeeze as much air out of that as possible, and continue to roll up towards the center of the kite, and nice and tight. Notice how I'm only gripping the leading edge. If you roll the leading edge nice and tightly, the rest of the kite will just follow. So I've got halfway, I've got to my center strut now. Just deflate that. And I'm just gonna lay that down on the beach, and I'm gonna come to the other side, and we're just gonna roll it up from the other side here, throw my bridle in, and proceed to roll this back towards the center, like so. Again, another strut. Roll it up, all the way. To the middle. Try and get any excess sand off it. Fold it in half, or into a third. Fold it into a third again. Give it a little squeeze, get any excess out of it, and there you have a nice packaged kite ready to go back into its kite bag. As I said, don't forget to pick up your bar and take it with you. It's an expensive mistake leaving that bar on the beach. But there you have it, your packed away kite. It's the end of your session and you're done for the day. Really appreciate you coming and watching our videos. I hope this one was helpful to you. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, give us a thumbs up, like, and click that notification bell if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Hopefully see you on the water. Cheers.